Hello everyone, good morning, good afternoon, whatever time you have, good night. Yes, today we are talking about how to deal with anger. Yeah, the anger is a very special emotion that we often don't like and suppress. Most of us suppress the anger because they don't know how to deal with it, how to let it come and go. And to let it go, it has to be allowed to be there. And what we often do, we think by suppressing it, we letting it go in a way. We think, oh, then it's okay, I've suppressed it, I've pushed it somewhere, and then it's all good. But no, what this does, it causes, it can cause even illnesses, sicknesses, when you suppress any emotion you suppress. This happens. Suppressed energies show themselves in stuck energies in our body, as symptoms, as any types of symptoms. And so let's get rid of this and let's learn how to deal with anger, how to learn to allow it, to feel it, and then to learn, because when you learn how to let it be there, then you also learn in an easy way to then even also calm down a lot faster, and faster than you might think. And it doesn't feel as bad anymore if you but I will talk about that later. Let's now relax, take your cup of tea, a warm water, take some deep breaths, and then just enjoy this wonderful talk from Eckhart and from me in the end as well. And don't forget your gift you will be able to receive in the end. Listen carefully and be excited about it. It's a really wonderful thing that can do a lot to you. Okay. Now make it comfortable and enjoy.
Humans don't make space for things to happen. They want to remove space from things. So now if something is happening and you make space for it, you become the space. So, and this is the grace that is hidden underneath so-called bad events. Now, bad events have a scale of, they start with a cold soup, very little, and go on to some dreadful accident, disaster, imminent death, or everybody around you died, or you lost everything, or somebody tells you only have 3 more weeks to live. You have the scale. Something dreadful, something so-called bad happens in your life. And then there's a scale. Cold soup is easy, but for some, that's a challenge too. And so for some, it sets the whole pattern. They have a cold soup and the rest of the day is spoiled. They don't make room for events. They don't allow an event to be. They argue with reality. I saw a cartoon once. It's hard to describe, but I'll attempt it. It showed people wearing placards. It's come some kind of protest march. And the placards contained only horizontal lines. And the entire surroundings, the street and the houses, were drawn in vertical lines. So the message is, we are against it. Whatever it is, we are against it. So if you make room for something to be, it can only be this moment because nothing can be apart from the now. You make room for something to be, it already is, so why not allow it? Allow it to be. And this act of allowing, easy to do when you face something beautiful. I allow this beautiful tree with the magnificent colors to be. That's easy. And then you walk one more step and suddenly you think your right foot goes right into the mud. Crunch. And there comes a minor challenge. Can you immediately say, oh, it already has happened. It is already. Not much you can do except, of course, pull your foot out and walk on. But usually, of course, it would lead to a reaction. So some words may then come out of your mouth. Contraction happens. And maybe there could be an immediate attempt to blame someone. This is what the ego likes to do. Something goes wrong, okay, who can I blame? It says the ego. They should have warned people about this. Or if you're in the States, then the favorite thing is go to a lawyer and sue them. So, and this is a beautiful practice. The many things that, in quotation marks, go wrong in your life are actually the greatest things. In a way, even greater than the beautiful trees, because they can take you deeper. And so, to a large extent, the world is here for you to experience things going wrong. And that is the challenge of the world. And if you still think otherwise, you may have lived on this planet for 50, 60 or 70 years and still expect things not to go wrong. One thing that usually happens that when something goes wrong, it pulls you into the old, it strengthens the reactivity of the old mind structures. There's complaining and running away and shouting and fighting. But there's the possibility, when you recognize the little thing, big thing going wrong, so to speak, that it isn't really wrong, you work with it. You work with it by not resisting the isness of the suchness. Buddha has this beautiful expression, suchness, the suchness. And you work with that rather than resisting it, allowing the suchness of what is right now, the form that this takes. And if the form that this takes should be a limitation, may seem a limitation on your sense of freedom, your freedom of movement, a limitation on what you want to do, a limitation on where you want to get to, and suddenly something rises up in front of you, a door, a wall. You're trying to go that way, and suddenly there's a closed door, metaphorically speaking, or literally speaking. Once we arrived at a place to give a talk, rented a hall. There was already a long lineup outside. Nobody had the key. And there was nobody there. They had all gone home. So 200 people were lining up, some were getting angry, I arrived, can't get in. So you're actually faced with a wall. So what do you then start shouting? No, of course you take action. Can you call somebody? Maybe somebody somewhere has a key and maybe they can come. Okay, somebody did that, but in the meantime, here we are. What was there to do except to cooperate with that moment? So I would just go, say, greet everybody in the lineup, and everybody was very happy. And almost by the time I reached the last person, somebody had arrived with a key, as if it had been planned. Now the strange thing is, when you cooperate and allow something to be that initially looks like an obstacle, initially looks like something has gone wrong, and both little and small, when you allow it to be, it becomes an opening into something that you cannot predict what that is. It changes its face from hostile to benign and helpful. The very event that seemed hostile turns around on the external level very frequently. Even more importantly, on an inner level, the shift happens. But you cannot really separate what happens on the outside from what happens on the inside. The inner shift happens, and then the significance of that situation changes also. So that really is the true spiritual practice, is to work with all the little and big things in one's life that seem to be obstacles or blockages. Whatever arises in the now, I'm not talking about some mental formations in the dream world of thinking. Actual obstacles, actual things going wrong, losing this, missing that, meeting somebody and it's the wrong time, it's the wrong place. And don't try to figure out why this has happened. It's very often, more often than not, it's impossible, because you may now think there must be a deeper reason why this has gone wrong. That's a secondary thing. That if you are to know the deeper reason, you will suddenly be staring you in the face. You can't miss it. But in the meantime, you don't even need to figure out what the deeper reason is. It's enough to allow what is to be and then see what happens. It doesn't prevent you from taking action. If you can take action, you take action. But in the meantime, the form that this moment takes is given space to be. And there's the key. Then that which had looked like an obstacle, a blockage, becomes an opening into space consciousness. So the archetypal image of that that humanity has is the cross. And people misinterpret it, and even Christians don't fully understand the deeper significance of the cross, because the cross is the worst thing that could possibly happen. It's an archetype of suffering. The man on the cross is humanity. The cross is the archetype of suffering. The cross is a torture instrument. The cross means complete helplessness, complete extreme pain, but also it means surrender. Not my will, but thy will be done. Thy will is the will of the whole that has brought about the form that this moment takes. And then surrender happens, and it's strange that the torture instrument is a symbol for the divine at the same time, and it turns into a symbol for the divine through the act of surrender. Somebody once said, I don't know who, but it is very wise. That which stands in the way is the way. And I said in this book, Stillness Speaks, that which seemed to deny the existence of any transcendental dimension to life becomes an opening into that dimension.
Yes, thank you very much, Eckhart, for this wonderful talk. And my continuation of the first words is actually it's the same that Eckhart is saying, to allow the feeling, to allow it to be there, to not push it away. And often, first of all, what you can do is look what is causing your inner resistance. Mostly when you get angry or you feel a pain or you feel a suffering, especially a suffering, is when you, like Eckhart is also saying, and Byron Katie, and that you are not accepting what is. You are, and Eckhart explained it with very wonderful stories that he was telling us. And this is really one of, for me it's one of my favorite talks that he brings here. Because they're so true and they are so very well connected to humor. To be able to laugh about yourself. About this little angry self that is within you. And what else could I give you today to this topic? Resistance is your key. Look for resistance in you. If you are struggling with pain or with suffering or with too much anger about yourself, maybe, first of all, look at yourself. How do you feel about you? How do you think? How do you talk about yourself, to yourself? Watch your thoughts and your words that you give yourself. Let's start there. This is where it all always begins. You have to first let go of the being against yourself. And that's where many illnesses come from that are chronic illnesses. They are from this behavior that you get used to, that you trained yourself to be against your own being. And if you have that, try to just observe yourself. Try to just observe and write, maybe in a book, write down, what do you recognize, which thoughts you recognize, that you tell yourself, your body, your brain, maybe like saying, oh, I'm so stupid. That's already something that you say against you, right? Or, oh, I'm so forgetful, or whatever you're telling yourself. I'm too small, I'm too big, I'm too this, too that. This is already arguing with what is, with the perfect moment that is. And then try to, from being against it, to being grateful that it is there. That what is there is there. But yeah, it takes maybe some time. First of all, you have to allow and to really observe and see that all these rough energies, these rough emotions are connected to a rejection of the reality that is going on at that moment. So please don't let yourself be mad about you if you are having a moment of anger. Allow it. It's okay when you're angry. And the best thing then to do is to say, I am so angry. I am so angry, for example. Name it. Give it a name and express it by saying it. By saying, I am, you are, yeah? Not you are like the other person. I just tell what you feel. I am angry, I am sad, I'm suffering. This already gives everyone around you and yourself the power or the self-reflected, grown-up self you are showing then there, that knows exactly that it's coming from within each self when they feel something, that no one is responsible for it, just you, just yourself, always. And then you might get angry again, but when you realize that you are responsible for all that there is out there in your life, then you might become again very angry about yourself. But stop that and rotate it back to, wow, this is great. If this is true, this is great, because then I can change everything right now. Come to that conclusion by finding the responsibility thing out as fast as you can, because this is the turn you have to understand from thinking, what have I created here? What have I done? What is happening to me? Or why is everything and everyone and always against me? This is completely giving the power away. Take back your power and your own allowance. And what else you could do is the emotional freedom technique, where you say how you feel, like I explained to you before, with saying I am angry, for example, and with then in addition tapping your fingers on certain points of your body. You can look it up in the internet, EFT method. And then you can tap on your points and say, I'm so sad, I'm so angry, I'm so whatever. And you go through many points in your face and then on your body, on your breast. Go into that feeling and find transformation while doing that. When you're saying, I'm so angry, and you're tapping on these points, you're tapping on the energy cross sections, and that helps to activate your whole emotional system. And then it will change, it will go through you, it will change from anger to maybe sadness, then maybe to powerless. And you will be surprised when you do this exercise how much layers of emotions you can go through, from the anger or from whatever you start from, there are different layers coming. There will be. And the tapping you can repeat and repeat as long as you feel you need to change your emotional state. Yeah. And then there will be a time where you think, oh, yeah, that's okay now. And most of the time the end of such a EFT journey is everything is okay as it is. And you, while saying that, you feel it. You really get to feel this way. That's the most important thing that you can learn. It's a very, very powerful tool to support you on your way. And now, I want you to remember who you really, really are. Yeah, the lottery win in your life, and not just yours, also all the other ones. Isn't that wonderful enough to be joyful every day about this fact? I think yes. And then don't forget your wonderful, beautiful gift that you get from me. Yes, what is it? Oh, yes, maybe you've heard it a few times already, but never thought you might want, use, need it. Yeah, it is a free coaching session with me, with myself. At a certain time, where you can just write me an email, and that email address you will find in the description of this channel. Yes, how wonderful is that? And then you get this wonderful experience of a free transformational coaching session. Yes. So don't miss it and take that chance and grab it. And be fast, because the dates are getting tighter and tighter. So to fit in not so late, to not having to wait too late for too long time, I would suggest to do it as fast as you can and book it. And you can come with any topic that you're having. It's completely fine. And even though if it only occurs on that date where we have the meeting point, or just shortly before on that day, often it happens this way, that something comes up, and then we have really something where to enter into your system. And these things are just paths to enter your system. Yeah, the extreme behaviors that people sometimes have. They are just the access. It's like a channel. Where you're sending information through and it's receiving. Now I wish you a wonderful day, minute, second, year, just everything. Okay, every time, everything, enjoy. Enjoy about your emotions, about the situations, about everything that you have created. To love your own creation.